Hey, I'm Matty Trump at mixandmastermysong.com. Today I want to go over how I set up my template in Studio One. Template is something you create before a session, and you can have all your effects and routing and so forth set up already, so you don't have to do it every time you start a new song. I mix 6 to 8 to 10 songs a week, so having this template set up with all my effects and routing the way I like it makes things really easy, so I can just start a mix and be creative right away and not worry about, loading effects and doing all that stuff. So hopefully it will help you to see how I work, and you can see my template and maybe create your own with some of the effects you like when you're working on your songs. So we'll just go through how to create it and all that stuff, and then hopefully you can make it your own. So here we go. First you do is the same thing as you always do in Studio One, is just create a new song. And we're going to call this template test, and we'll call it 44.1 and 24-bit, and that's fine. And so I already have, you see under user, you can create your own, and I'll show you how to save it once we get in there, but I already have mine saved. It's Matty Trump Temp 2, and you just click OK, and it will start loading all the plugins and stuff that I already have loaded in there. And it takes a minute because I have quite a few plugins. I got like 5 to 6 reverbs, 5 to 6 delays, some spatial stuff, and then I also have buses set up to send, my drums, my bass, my music, my vocals, and my effects. So everything can kind of be submixed in my session as well. There we go. So as you see, I start left to right. So these first set of tracks are my buses. So whenever I get a mix, I load all the audio files into a session like this, and I'll export the drums to the drum bus, the bass to the bass bus, the music to the music bus, the vocals to the vocal bus, and then the effects all return to this effects bus. I do that so if I want to turn the drums down a dB, I can just do it here, turn all the drums down a dB. Or if I want to turn the music up, you can turn it up. And also I do some overall effects on everything that I can do right here as well. For my drums, it gets a little more complicated because I have some parallel compressors here going. And so I actually have 3. So these 2 I send from the actual drum stems themselves. And this one goes to this parallel compressor right here, which is a Fairchild this week. I changed it up, and this week I kind of like the way this sounds. But these all go to the mix aux, which is over here. And this mix aux goes to my master fader, which is over here, which is always on the right in Studio One. And we'll go over my bus stuff in a second too. I also have this MCPC, which means mixed parallel compression, and this is sending to it pre-fader, so the fader doesn't affect how much is being sent here. And this is if sometimes I want to parallel compress the whole mix, and if I want to do that, I have it set up and I can just turn it up and do it. I don't do it always, but it's there if I need it, and I just like having that ready to go. So that kind of sets all that up. And then after that, I have my reverbs, and I have those all color-coded this color. And so just run through them. I got 2 plates here. I got the 140 plate and then the 250 plate. I use them for different things. This is a really short plate. This is a bit of a longer plate. I don't always use them, but they're there if I need them. I got a room. It's set as a room. It's the Reverb. But I'll change it sometimes. Just because it says room doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the room, but it's ready to go as a room, and that way I know that I can just go my send and go room and have a room reverb sound. Next is this plugin, which is awesome, and it's set as my hall. But I also use it for some vocal stuff because it's got a lot of cool things you can do with the pre-delay and the width and the tail recovery on it. And it's just an awesome reverb plugin. And so I use that a lot on vocals, but it's set up as a hall. Next is the slate verb, which is amazing too. I use that a lot. I sometimes been using 2 of these, so I'll make another aux if I need it. Because it's got so many great delays and it's really easy to use. and I love stuff that's just simple to use. The next reverb is AMS 16, the Neve, and I use that as ambience, and I also sometimes use the non-lin, and those are pretty much the two settings I use on that. Just awesome reverb. It's kind of redundant because I have it on the Verb Suite now and I have it here, but it's cool just to have the kind of the original remake of it. And last but not least is this Maniverb, which I use usually as a room sound, but I try some of the other stuff, and it's cool because it's got a compressor on it, and distortion and phaser and stuff. So I use this sometimes just as kind of an effects reverb if I want something different. Now, it's a lot of reverbs, but I don't use them. Like I said, I don't use them all the time. Maybe I'll just use 1 or 2 on a song. Maybe I'll be using 4, but they're just there. So when I have that sound I'm looking for, I know where to go and I can just reach for it. If I want ambient, I can reach for the RMS. If I want a room, I can reach for the room. If I want to play it, I can reach for one of these. It gives me the different sounds I'm looking for right away. The next two are kind of some doublings, chorusy effects that really I use to widen things out. The first one is the Roland Dimension D, and the second one is the MXR, kind of doubler flanger. Both of them are cool for adding kind of doubler effects and just general width to vocals or keyboards or whatever you're looking to use them for. So I use the Dimension D on just about every mix. This one sometimes, not all the time. Next are my set of delays, and I got a bunch of delays. The first two are 2 different slaps. They both kind of do a little bit of different things. This one's the Imperial delay by Boz, and then this one's the repeater delay. This is just a general 32 second, 16th note delay slap, and I have those two for different flavors. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just set up the slap 1, listen to it through the vocal, which I usually use a slap on, and if I don't like it, I'll try the other one, and just I can hear them both really quick without having to go in and change parameters. Next are just 3 basic delays, an 1/8 note, a 1/4 note, and a 1/2 note. And those are all the repeater with a digital 42 mod. And it's pretty basic. It's just a little bit of filtering, both panned wide out, and then I'll switch the spread. This spread is awesome. I don't know if you guys have this plugin, but you can do a quick, pretty much mono delay to a wider and a much wider delay, and just by a click of a button. It's pretty cool. So those are those 3. If I need a 1/4, 1/8, or 1/2 note delay, they're right there. Then I got a telephone delay, which is a trick I use. Just, there's never a song that doesn't need a telephone delay at some point. The next delay is the Manny delay, which kind of like the Manny reverb, is a really cool delay that you can get some cool effects out of. A lot of times I use it with the Verb, but you can add the distortion and the doubler I use sometimes. And it's got your basic high pass, low pass, and you can change the time here and the feedback. And this is an awesome delay. So I just have this set up for certain things I know exactly to go to this one for that sound that I have in my head. The next one is the Cube, which I don't use all that often, but it's there if I need it. I honestly am a glutton for plugins, and I got this, and I haven't used it that much, but it's cool. I got it on kind of a fast slap delay thing going right now. The next one is this filter delay that I've made a while ago, and it's got a bunch of stuff going on, and it's really cool for certain things, and I just love having it when I need it. And then the last but not least, the EP34, which is kind of a tape delay, which sounds awesome, and I use that quite a bit too. So it's a lot of different plugins going on, but each one's ready to go when I need it. And all these are going to the effects bus right here. And so if I want to just filter out some low end and high end on the effects bus, it's easily done here. I can turn all the effects down or all the effects up, all that stuff. And so it makes it easy. I can just submix all that. And last but not least, I have my mix bus, which I got really quick. I'm going to show you. I got the virtual bus by Slate. I also have those on my submixes too. The BX Digital, which I use just for some basic EQ and a little bit of stereo width. My UAD Shadow Hills, which I don't always use, because a lot of times I'm going out my pipeline to my analog gear, which is a couple different kinds of compressors. You can see over here the overstayer, my better maker. I got another compressor over here. And I'll pick and choose for which song, kind of which analog gear I like to use. I like to use analog gear kind of on my mastering, master bus, to kind of give it that flavor. And the overstayer is kind of a big part of that, to kind of give me that analog console push sound. So all that runs through this pipeline here. So if I don't think I need to go in the box, I might use the Shadow Hills compressor. If not, I'll just turn it off and use the Better Maker or the TK. And then that's pretty much it. These down here are on this other screen, but I can bring them over. These are metering plugins, and I got the Brainworks BX meter, and then the Stereoscope by M Audio. Is it M Audio? I think so. Not M Audio. Melda Productions. Awesome plugins. And then I have, these are just notepads, which are kind of cool. I have the settings ready to go for all my analog gear, and I can just type in the settings and it's ready to go. So that makes it easy for recalls. I could just click on the notepad and bring up the settings for your overstayer or the TK or the EQ or whatnot. The Better Makers are awesome because they are actual analog and digital plugins, which is awesome. Better Maker is so cool. So that's basically it. So once you set up your session, you go File, Save as Template, and you just name it, and it will save in the user settings of your templates. Same place I showed you where we started this. So it's a great way to get things going quickly when you're working on a song and you're trying to be creative and you don't want to worry about all the different stuff. You can slap a delay on really quick. Obviously, you don't need to make something as extravagant as I got going here, or you can make it more extravagant. It's really up to you. So hopefully that helps you out in setting up a template for Studio One. And let me know if you got any questions. Make sure to comment and like below. Thanks a lot.